All right. Welcome to another episode of Talkin Dodgers. I am Robbie. I'm here with Aaron. Max cannot make it this time. Our scheduling is still all over the place. We're trying to figure it out. Don't worry. We got some good content for you. All right, today's topics. We are talking about Dodgers made a trade. Well, not a trade. They picked up somebody. They didn't trade anybody for him, just some cash. We're going to recap the Dodgers-Angels game. We got a small update with Walker Buehler, Emmett Sheehan. So he's out. So who's in? And then I got a list of the top 30 list prospects for the Dodgers. So we can go over that a little bit.
Sure.
Also, we might talk about the new A's stadium. But really quick, before we get started, if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more, please click the like, subscribe, and follow buttons and give us the thumbs up whenever possible. Also, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/rotyourbrainmedia. Your contributions help us continue to make content that hopefully you enjoy. Thanks, and let's get started. All right, Aaron, you are up. Looks like the Dodgers, they acquired a shortstop. Looks like a, tell me more about him, because I don't really know much about him.
Honestly, I don't know much about him. What's up, everybody? It's been a few days. Just got back from spring training in Glendale and Vegas. And so just getting back into the swing of things of life. So I guess this trade happened a couple of days ago. We're sitting here Wednesday. This happened Monday. The Dodgers acquired Andre, and I want to say his last name is Lipschitz. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but
Lipschitz.
We'll go with that. So he's a career minor leaguer. He was drafted in 2019 out of the University of Tennessee. 4 years in the minors. Not bad. Hit 266, 38 homers, 88 doubles, 212 RBIs in 4 seasons, like I said. Last year, he did appear for the Tigers main club at the show, appeared in 13 games. He did have 1 homer, hit 286 with a double. Then I'm not really sure too much after that. So, but just wanted to make sure that we got that transaction in for you guys. So, and that is the latest transaction that we are aware of as we sit here at 11:45 on a Wednesday morning.
Well done. What's his primary position? Shortstop?
I believe he's a shortstop.
Yeah.
Which I mean, we're going to have probably 3 backup shortstops now.
Yeah, we have Rojas, Chris Taylor, and you got Kike backing up Lux. I mean, when I first saw the trade, because I didn't know who this person was, I was like, oh, maybe they might be, maybe there's a move that was made right here to kind of back up Lux in case Lux doesn't work out. But then you dive deeper into the to Lipschitz. It just seems like he's
Andre.
we apologize. But right now it just seems like he's just a minor league player. The upside, his projections from what I looked at don't seem to be very good as far as his offense wise.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be a future Dodger player right there, but who knows? Dodgers find a way. They find a way to find talent. And, Max Muncy is a perfect example. Chris Taylor is a perfect example. They have players that you didn't think were going to, Justin Turner, another perfect example. Players that other organizations got rid of because they didn't, or let go, released, whatever, because they didn't think they were any good. They come to the Dodgers, become all-stars. Justin Turner becomes a legend, so who knows? The Dodgers, they have a better eye for talent than we do, obviously.
Well, that's what they do. Then their scouts are paid pretty well to do that, and they do it year-round. They go all around the world looking for talent. Also, I don't know if you mentioned, but Trey Sweeney is another guy that we have at shortstop that could be another future piece in that trade that we did with the Yankees a couple months back in the offseason. So, we're definitely loaded at the shortstop position here going into game number, I believe, 13 of spring training here? 2 weeks away, actually, from opening day. 2 weeks from today.
Wow.
Yep.
All right.
So let's move on from Andre Lipschitz. How about that, Robbie?
Let's do that. Let's move on from him. All right, let's talk about the Dodgers-Angels game. Really fast. Not much offense-wise, so we'll just get that out of the way. Let's see. The first inning, Betts had a hit. It was a little blooper that fell in to left field. After that, it was some Ks. Freeman hit the ball pretty hard to second base, but it was ended up being a ground out. There's nothing from the big three that kind of came in. As you can see, the score was, Dodgers scored nothing. So that basically tells you what the offense was right there. However, there was some good stuff about the pitching. So let's talk about Bobby Miller really quick. So Bobby Miller's outing, he did 3 innings pitched. He gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, and 1 K. So going off of that stat, I mean, I watched him play, and he looked dominant. Like he looked like he was in control, and he was very exciting. And then he should have had 2 strikeouts. One of those calls, even the broadcast, I actually had to watch the Angels broadcast because for some reason my DVR setting picked the Angels over the Dodgers broadcast, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But even they were like, "Ooh, that should have been a strike." They even knew that it would. But so Bobby Miller, he was in command, and it looked pretty good. He also should have been out of an inning a little bit sooner. Mookie had a throwing error, which he did not look solid at second base at all this game. He had 2 throws that were thrown pretty low to Freeman that he should have picked, but he didn't, so he ended up not being able to turn 2. Also, there was a throw to second base on a attempted steal that popped out of his glove. It was a difficult throw to catch, but still, a baseball player should have caught it, and somehow he maneuvered it to go to Rojas, which was good because then Rojas was able to pick it up and throw the runner out at home.
Right.
Either way, Mookie did not look good at second, but it's spring training, small sample size. Anyways, but Bobby Miller looked really good.
Well, that's good news because that coming off his great rookie season last year. I mean, let's go. I mean, he's going to be a guy that's expected to, he may not throw 190 innings or whatever, but they're projecting him basically as the 4th starter. But I'm thinking he's probably number 3.
I think he's 3.
Yeah, I definitely think he's 3. And
I also think that when you say his innings pitched, I think he has the potential to pitch the most innings out of everybody. Because
his arm is the freshest out of all these guys. He doesn't have the wear and tear and all that. So.
He's not known to be injury prone yet. And
Let's not even throw that word "yet" in there, right?
I mean, it's a pitcher. Come on. They're all injury prone, aren't they?
Well, yes, somewhat.
I mean, they kind of have to be because they have to throw 100 miles an hour now. So, I mean, it's inevitable, I feel like, at this point. Because
as long
now
as they
they're
can
all
limit them.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
6-man rotation.
Or 8-man rotation. With
the Dodgers, it could be a 9-man rotation if everybody comes back.
Yep.
All right, so Bobby Miller looked really good, and one of the hits that he gave up was to Trout, which Trout ambushed him first pitch, hit it to right side. It was a good pitch, and it was a good hit.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but he looked good. Let's see, other pitchers. Daniel Hudson didn't look great, but at the same time, this goes back to he gave up a run, or actually he might have given up 2. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was just 1. But that shouldn't even have come in just because it was another double play that Betts didn't turn. It was another low throw to Freeman that Freeman should have picked.
Yeah.
But that unfortunately kept the inning going, so there was more room for error for Hudson. He didn't look great, but he didn't look bad. So that was, promising. Evan Phillips came in the middle of an inning and shut everything down. He looked dominant. Blake Trinan came in, pitched a scoreless inning, and gave up, I think it was a hit, the first batter. And then after that, he shut it down. Had a K.
Well, that's key right there because as we've talked before, Trinan was lights out in 2020. He was lights out in 2021. He had the shoulder issue in 22 and 23. And apparently he's fresh. All the injuries are behind him. And that guy's stuff is so filthy. And last Friday when I was there, he came in I believe it was the 5th or 6th inning. And he still had that nasty movement on a slider. He did, though, actually hang a slider to a batter. I forget the player's name on the Guardians, but this ball should have been smashed over the wall. I saw that slider belt high. This guy just missed it, just got under it. But other than that, his pitches look good. He was still hitting like 96, 97 on the gun.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, at the stadium, they show the radar gun on the big scoreboard.
But they don't show it on the broadcast.
They don't show it on the broadcast.
That's weird.
And I wonder why, but I think that's been a thing for a few years now, and I want to know, anybody out there, if they have an answer for that, please let us know, because I've been wondering that for a while now.
So going back to the broadcast really quick, and this is maybe might be a little mean for any Angel fan that might be listening to this, but when I was watching the broadcast on the Angels broadcast, and I'm pretty sure they're using the same cameras and stuff as the Dodgers are, cutting back and forth.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like so low budget. And I say this because like the graphics that they're using, it's not even like all the way in the right spot. Some of it just felt like it was just, I think it was a low budget stream. That's basically how I felt with what I was watching. And that sucks to say that. And, you know, obviously the Dodgers have their own network, so they put a lot of time and effort into it. And they used to be on the Fox network, which is now Bally's and stuff like that before.
Right.
But it just, for some reason, it just felt so low budget. So when you mentioned that, you know, they're not showing the radar gun on the streams. They're not showing the Dodger streams either, obviously. It just feels like, why would you cut a corner there? Like, why wouldn't you just show that?
Yeah, it is a little odd.
It seems weird to not do that.
It is. And I don't think it's just this year either. I think it's been a thing for a few years now. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember seeing the radar gun during the last 2 or 3 spring trainings, maybe even more. So I'm wondering why. So yeah, somebody out there, if you have an answer, let us know. Maybe we can Google it. Sure, we're being lazy, but you know, we're doing a show here. So.
Do you remember a couple of years ago that they would, for some reason, when Kershaw would pitch, the radar gun wouldn't be working?
No, I don't remember.
That's when his velocity was dropping. Like he wasn't even pitching it. He wasn't even hitting the 90s. So the radar gun just wasn't turned on for his games. I do remember
that. Yes. Now that you say that. Yeah. Right.
You can't hide it anymore.
Well, yeah. Let's see after that bionic arm, after the surgery, he's going to hit 97, 98 now, right?
I guess.
We'll see.
I mean, that's pretty much it as far as... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's talk about Okey. Okay? Okey?
I think it's Okey.
Okey.
Yeah.
So Barnes... was a little under the weather. Let's see.
He had a back issue.
It was a back issue.
Back tightness, right?
Yeah, I think it was what it said, back tightness.
Which I think we all, at our age, kind of deal with every day now.
I sneeze and my lower back hurts.
Seriously.
Anyways, so Okey was the only starter that was not, you know, projected to be on the everyday or on the, you know, on opening day roster.
Yep.
And I thought he did pretty good. I know he got 1 hit at least. He called a really good game, obviously, because Bobby Miller, you know, went 3 scoreless innings.
You said he was framing pretty well.
His framing looked really good.
Yeah.
And it looks like that new framing where Barnes doesn't even do the new framing, where it's like the catchers will start with their glove down almost on the ground.
Yep.
So when there's a low pitch coming, their glove is coming up to get it. And so it brings it back up into the zone. Where Barnes just like positions the glove where the ball is going to go.
And then he just kind of moves
pulls it all the way in the middle. It's not even like on the corner when we were kids. It's like, oh, you're trying to frame the corner. He pulls it all the way into the middle.
Right.
And somehow that's considered good framing. I don't understand it. But anyways, I thought Okey looked good. It made me more confident because I know they have all these other... Okey's not projected to be any kind of a stud. At least I don't think he is, unless you've got some different numbers than I do.
I haven't heard anything about that. Nope.
Yeah. And so I feel like one of the reasons why Barnes is still the backup, obviously because he's team captain and everybody loves him. Mm-hmm. But the other reason why is because you have all these other young catchers that you don't want to throw into everyday set or into the majors because you still have Will Smith right there. So they're not going to play every single day. You still want them to be down there in the minors, developing. Also, you know, you don't want to damage their trade chips in case they come up and they don't look good in the majors, and now you can't trade them because now their stock went down a little bit. So, but you got Okey that's sitting right here, which gave me confidence where it's like, I could see this guy being the backup catcher. We're not. I feel like this might be a Let's Blast Barnes podcast a lot of the times. And it might be.
Podcasts do that too. So
it might be just because what you only get from Barnes really is he can frame and, you know, calls a good game, I guess. Does he call a better game than Will Smith?
It seems to be pretty top notch. But then again, is that him or is that he's getting the calls because of pitch comm, right? So that's electronics now.
Can they pitch comm him from the dugout? Does it go to him and then it goes to, because I know that.
I think it does. I think it goes to the catcher to the pitcher.
Can't be right.
But maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know much about the pitch comm.
I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. That seems, because then it's like, why even have the catcher? Just eliminate the catcher then, because if he's just going to relay exactly what's coming in from the dugout, then why does he even need to call a game at all? He could just sit there and listen to what the coach is calling and then just go from there. Yeah,
let's see. I mean, you know, as far as Barnes goes, obviously, Austin, you know, we can't do what you do. We just wish that you could do better.
I could.
And, well, maybe Robbie, because Robbie is a catcher and all that. But, you know, get well, Austin. But, yeah, in the meantime, I would like to see something for the future for our team here.
That makes a lot of sense.
Backup catcher, right? We need some semblance of a hitter, and we know that Barnes is not much of a hitter. So
I want to feel like if Will Smith has the day off, it's not a guaranteed out from the catcher spot.
Oh, it's all automatic.
And that's what it feels like it is.
And Barnes is in there.
Granted, Barnes is doing better than Will Smith is in spring training right now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's spring training. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. But let's talk. So that brings up a point that I talked about my last podcast, my solo broadcast.
Go check that out, people. Robbie did a great job solo.
It was. I don't want to do that ever again. But what I did talk about was the fourth position, or the fourth spot in the batting order.
Yep.
I brought up Will Smith kind of fades a little bit in the season, like we talked about before. But then Rick Monday, it might have been Rick Monday. It was on the broadcast. Either Rick Monday or it was who's the other guy that does the broadcast with them?
Not Charlie Steiner, Tim Neverett.
It could have been Neverett who said it, where it was like between Muncy, and Muncy has the number one runners in scoring position throughout last season.
Right.
Will Smith was number 2. So if Will Smith was number 2 on having the most runners in scoring position throughout the entire season, he only had like 76 or 78 RBIs throughout the entire season. That's a lot of missed opportunities for a person that has that many runners in scoring position batting fourth.
I hear what you're saying.
It's very alarming. So I looked at I didn't have Teoscar Hernandez's stats in front of me, because I think he's the other option, because they like to do this righty-lefty kind of thing.
He is the other option.
And he'd be the other option. Yep. And he batted fourth at this game. He didn't do much, but he was there. But I looked at his RBIs with Tampa Bay last year, and he had 96 RBIs last year. And I don't know what kind of protection, what was around him, or what the on-base percentage was about the runners in front of him.
Right.
But I feel like if he would have had that many opportunities in front of him as Will Smith did, because their batting averages were very similar, but he did have more home runs and he had more RBIs than Will Smith. It makes me feel like he's the perfect person to slot into that number 4 slot. It's less pressure on Will Smith also to not sit there and have to back up Freddie Freeman.
Exactly.
Or back up the main 3, which some people are calling him the MV3.
The MV3, I've heard that
I like
too.
it. I'm down with it. I'm fine with the MV3.
I'm cool.
Whoever came up with it, you get props for it. MV3.
I love it. I mean, to be honest with you, Smith has been hitting cleanup for 2 or 3 years now, basically. I'd be okay with him batting 5th, and I understand that
You'd have to move down to 6th because Muncy's batting 5th.
Well, that's true, because it's right, left, basically, and then
it's right, left,
right, left,
right, left, right,
right,
then
left, right,
yeah,
right,
well, left,
right, left, right, yeah, right. Okay, we're confusing ourselves here. I wouldn't mind, and I think you touched on something that's very important, because now, for me, I kind of give Will Smith a little bit of a mulligan from last year, because he did miss about a month of the season with that concussion.
Yeah.
But
that's true. I did forget about that. But that wasn't...
So the numbers
that was like
weren't
2
really
or 3
there.
weeks. But that was like 2 or 3. It wasn't like a whole month, was it? Either way,
it was close.
You're right.
I
forgot about the concussion.
So I give him a little bit of a mulligan. So if you figure if he would have not had that concussion, and maybe he has a couple of days off, just scheduled days off to rest his legs and everything, but maybe his numbers are a little bit better, I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I did talk about, I don't think it's much like against Will Smith as a hitter. I think it's against Will Smith as the catcher, because catching is such a taxing position. Like, it's very difficult for a catcher to be 100% hitting wise throughout the entire season. It's not against Will Smith as the actual hitter. I feel like if Will Smith was playing a different position, or if he was DH the entire season, then I think his hitting numbers would be better. But the fact is, he is the catcher. So to have the catcher in the number 4 spot throughout the entire season, I feel like it's going to limit your RBI potential.
Maybe I just thought of something as you're talking about this. Maybe they're going to trade Barnes. Maybe that's why they're showcasing him a lot. Or maybe I'm just hoping at
Nobody's
this point.
Getting Barnes.
But maybe I'm just hoping at this point, because at some point we are going to need a catcher who can hit besides
we were
Will
shocked
Smith.
When A.J. Ellis got traded.
I know.
So there's no way, and he was a better player than Barnes was.
I'm just hoping and believing right now, hoping that something changes.
And that was Kershaw's best friend.
I know.
So
and they were like, "Yep, we don't care."
No, look. This is the plan. We all know it's the plan. We could talk about Okey as much as we want. Barnes is with this team until his contract ends.
And then he's got another, year after this?
I think so. Max, this is why you should be here, because we're not going to look it up.
Fact check that, Max.
But I think that's, when his contract is done with the Dodgers, they're just going to give him a coach hat, and then that's it.
And that's cool.
I don't think there's no other team in baseball that's going to take Barnes. And it's as sucky as that is to say.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Maybe he goes and manages somewhere like AA or single A ball, rookie ball or something. I mean, look, at the end of the day.
Maybe he opens up a baseball clinic.
Right. Not for hitting, though, that's for sure.
No. It'd be for framing.
Be for framing and
pitch calling and pitch sequences.
God, we're terrible.
How to become the pitcher's best friend.
Well, at some point, I hope the organization starts to put a high priority on having a backup catcher who can hit. And supposedly Diego Cartaya is supposed to be that guy, but I have not heard anything from him.
He's a trade piece, man.
I guess at this point,
as long as Will Smith is. Yeah. We talked about Will Smith and how many more years of arbitration and stuff that he has.
Right.
Obviously, if the Dodgers believe in Will Smith as much as they do to keep batting him fourth, he's their main guy. Like
absolutely.
And it seems like everybody loves him in the clubhouse.
Let's face it, he's gotten some big hits, especially in the postseason before. So I mean, he's earned that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's focus on something like for the future here. Someone else that can hit instead of just, their best attribute is pitch framing.
Yeah.
That's not really what we want anymore.
All right, well, let's segue into someone who can't pitch right now. All right, so Walker Buehler.
Butane.
So we've talked about Buehler for a little bit, and this might be an old thing. I think you might have seen it before.
Soap opera with this guy.
It does.
This spring training, dude.
But now we're hearing that he's not expected to be activated until May at the earliest.
Correct.
And it goes back to from I'm going to rush or I'm going to be ready for October to help pitch in the playoffs to now being pushed all the way back to the following year in May.
Yeah.
Something happened. I feel like they're not saying it. Something must have happened to delay it a little bit longer.
Yeah, maybe it was Walker. Maybe look, it's all speculation at this point, but maybe he just wasn't working as hard as he should have been. Maybe he was babying it, and maybe for good reason too, right? I have never had Tommy John surgery, so I don't know what that's like. Maybe the doctors told him, hey, don't rush this. This is your second one. Do you want a third one? So, that's probably a very high mental thing with these guys, right? I mean, they're paid millions and millions of dollars, and let's face it, they're babied. Because they have to be because of those millions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, hold on. There's more to the thing. I kind of jumped it a little bit. Dave Roberts does hope that the right-hander will make one Cactus League start before the team breaks camp.
So, right. I heard that as well. And then I was also hearing that it's maybe a freeway series game against the Angels right before the season starts. So after they come back.
But why haven't they? But again, why even have him pitch one Cactus League game, but then not even activate him until May? It seems like if you're worried about him that much,
it's mind games, dude.
Then why even have him pitch?
Mind games with us.
Oh, you think you're Phil Jackson, huh?
Yeah.
Do you?
Maybe some little Zen type. White Sox Dodgers taking place right here.
All right. Well, we'll keep watch on that, and then
it's a continuing saga with Walker Buehler. Trust me, because we're gonna keep hearing more about it every week.
Yeah.
As long as he's on the right track and his secondary pitches are great. Apparently, his velocity is there, so that's what we want.
You did hear that?
I heard that his velocity is there from Dave Roberts.
Oh, he called you?
From the horse's mouth. No, he texted, actually.
He was
dancing. Call. Who calls anymore?
He was dancing while he's texting you?
Yeah, he emailed me, Pony Express.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right, let's move on. All right, Emmett Sheehan. Let's talk about another pitcher who cannot pitch right now.
He's not pitching. Nope.
It looks like he's got some. He's got a sore shoulder, and he is not expected to pitch in the Cactus League anymore. So what that does is that obviously delays his progress. It also opens up the door now. So we started with a number of 4 to 5 pitchers who we thought could take the 5th or 6th spot, depending on if they do the 6-man rotation or not. But now it's down to 2. And I think we could definitively say it's down to Gavin Stone and Ryan Yarbrough, which, to be honest with you, the way that both of these guys are pitching, I don't think there's a wrong answer on who actually gets the 5th spot. Well, no, I think the wrong answer would be Yarbrough. And the reason why is I feel like because Gavin Stone is your future, keep him as a starter It keeps stretching him out. Yarbrough can come in and do long relief, and he can also come in and like do a bullpen start for you. So he, in theory, I think we talked about this for a second. If you do the 5-man rotation and then you stay with Gavin Stone as your 5th man, if you have those weeks or those games where you have like 10, 12 games in a row with no break, that's when you throw in your 6-man guy, who then he can come in, which could be Yarbrough, and then he could pitch that 6th game and then go back to the regular 5-man rotation where they have breaks ever so often and stuff.
Sure.
What are you thinking? Stop watching the game. Come over here. Come over here. Come over.
I'm paying attention. I can do both.
Come over here.
Mookie's at bat right now.
All right.
So
I'll watch.
As far as this goes, this last spot in the 5th man rotation, we'll say. We won't say 6.
We'll keep it to 5 until
we'll keep it to
6.
5 until the season starts, basically, when days off start coming into play. So that's usually what happens, especially in April. They tend to have more days off in April. So my whole thing is, we were talking about this earlier, I'd like to actually see a lefty in our rotation besides Paxton. And I know Paxton's the 4th guy pretty much right now.
That'd be Yarbrough then if you're looking for the lefty.
I want to see another couple of games from both of them. I've actually only been able to see personally Gavin Stone throw a couple of times. I have not seen Yarbrough.
Yarbrough looks good. He looked good in his last game.
Right, that's what I've heard.
He did give up a homer, but
if it's a solo shot, it's a solo shot.
It was a solo shot, and like I said,
I'm okay with that.
If every 2 innings he gives up 1 solo homer, that means he goes 6 innings pitched, gives up 3 runs. That's a quality start from a pitcher these days.
Absolutely, it is. And it's too bad about Sheehan because he was 4-1 last year with the ERA, a little bit high ERA under 5, but rookie, 13 games. I think we have so much depth that it doesn't make sense to rush him, obviously. And if it's Stone and if he wins that, which by all accounts from what I've seen and his stats are proving it so far this spring, he's earned that 5th spot rotation. So if we only have one lefty in the starting rotation, which would be Paxton, I'm good with that. How do you feel about it?
I'm good with it too. Okay. I think it's going to be good. I'm not really too caught on the whole lefty righty matchup stuff anymore. I feel like every team can make adjustments depending on what pitcher's pitching. So
it's not as important as it was, say, 10 years ago. I know what you mean.
But check this out. So if you were to take all of our injured starting pitchers right now, we're just going to throw this out there.
Yeah.
So you've got Buehler, you got Kershaw, you got Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, and now you got Emmett Sheehan.
Too many. My God. That's a whole staff right there.
That 5-man rotation right there would be the 2nd best starting 5-man rotation
if healthy. Right.
If healthy.
So, I know what you're saying. We have 2 starting rotations right now. By the way, Ohtani's at bat. You might want to look over there real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
It's like must-see TV.
Is it must-see? Well, we're doing must-listen. Okay. So
not when he swings and misses like that and his helmet almost falls off.
Speaking of Ohtani.
Yeah.
So Ohtani, Roberts came out and said Ohtani's going to take the day off on Wednesday.
Well, here we are.
And then Ohtani comes and goes, no, I'm playing on Wednesday. So I wonder who's in charge of that situation right there. And I've always thought about like how can you tell the guy who's making $700 million to go sit down for a day and rest?
I don't think you can.
Do you have that kind of power? I don't think he has that kind of power.
No, and I think the power goes to the player because he's earned it, right?
Yeah. So it's got to be a really difficult job to try to tell these people that make more money than you, what to do.
Oh, Ohtani with the infield hit, 1st and 3rd, no out. No, I wouldn't want that job. I wouldn't want to have that conversation, or maybe I would actually want to have that conversation because that means you're doing pretty well in life. So
yeah, I guess so.
I'm also thinking that I would be a fly on the wall, right? For that to happen. Maybe he's off tomorrow because tomorrow's Thursday. Maybe they play for he plays the rest of the weekend, and then they leave. I want to say it's next weekend because they have a couple of games in Korea. I don't know exactly when they leave, but they are going to be leaving here in the next. What is today? The 6th. They're going to be leaving probably by the 15th. I'm going to say. So, he's got to get his at-bats in. Let's face it, he wanted to get 50 at-bats in to spring training, which, Not in game situations, but at least on the backfields and simulated games, I guess, too.
Right.
And then who knows? He's probably in the cage for an hour a day. I would, right? Get your 100 swings in.
Get your 100 swings in, man.
Yep. Freddie Freeman's at the dish right now.
I'm going to see if I could do something really fast.
What are you doing there, Robbie?
I'm going to pull up let's see if I can get it on the screen really quick. The 2024 top prospects for the Dodgers.
Let's get into it.
I probably should have prepped for this a little bit better. Let me see if I could do it really quick.
I can pull it up here, too.
Well, you can't show it on the stream. I can show it on the stream.
That is true.
Because I got to take power of that. Take charge of it.
First one that comes up for me is Dalton Rushing. And guess what? He's a catcher. Well, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
So,
let me see if I can get this going.
Frosso, I think, is out for this year. I just heard that the other day. Andy Pages, which some people might call him Pages. He's probably our top one right now, at least performance-wise this spring.
Yeah, I wonder how much he went up considering his performance in spring. He must have went up a little bit. I don't know what the projections look like before.
Wow.
But it's got to gone up a little bit.
Freeman with the long fly ball out to left scores bets from third, and Ohtani moves up to second. That is solid base running right there, Robbie.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I can't get it to pull up right now. So, yeah, you got Dalton Rushing.
Yep. We got top five here.
Yeah, catcher, first baseman. You got Nick Frasso. Andy Paez.
Yep. Jose De Paula.
Then you got River Ryan. So it's interesting, though, out of those top five, underneath those are guys who are going to be actually, one of them will be on the Dodgers squad. Opening day will be Gavin Stone. But then they got Kyle Hurd at number 7 as well. So I thought that was interesting that those two guys right there.
That guy is nasty.
Yeah. And then you got Landon Knack, who we were really happy about him. He's all the way down at 14.
High ceiling for Knack.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be moving up on that list.
So the exciting thing about spring training is that we got a chance to see some of these guys. And so Andy Paez, before spring training, I couldn't tell you anything about him or I could care less.
Well, I've heard the name bandied about from last year, but I knew nothing about him. And now people are getting pissed off that he's actually been sent down and he's not on the big league club right now. It's what did they expect? That he's just going to automatically take over right field from Hayward?
Yeah.
Like, let's not get carried away, people. Hayward's, that's his spot for now. Let's see what happens in a month or two.
Hayward struggles, then yeah, I could see him coming up. And what's a little bit unfortunate, and maybe it is, maybe it's not, but does he have the call up? Does he get called up before Vargas?
I think it's a performance-based business, so I think
it's a youth business as well. So I think because Vargas has already been up there before, and what you're trying to do now with Vargas is rebuild his stock. I think they pull him up first because if you bring up Paez, whose stock I think looks really good right now, considering what he did in spring, and then he suffered or he doesn't, he struggles like in 5 games, they send him back down. Yeah. Then now his trade piece doesn't look that good anymore. So I'm pretty sure they'll probably bring up Vargas beforehand. But either way,
I'm okay with that. I mean, Vargas, they will be different positions because it looks like Vargas is mostly lefty field.
Yeah, left field.
Which is, Ethier is kind of coaching him, and then right field would be Paez. Paez apparently has the better arm too, which is huge. Yeah. Which, it's really no knock on Vargas. He's mostly an infielder most of his career. So
no, if he wants to play on this squad, he ain't going to be an infielder anymore.
Definitely not.
There's nowhere for him to go.
Nope.
Was his primary position shortstop? It was.
It was either short or second.
It wasn't second. I think it was shortstop. I think he was learning second. It might have been third or shortstop. So there you go. Maybe you got Gavin Lux's replacement right there.
Well, if Lux keeps throwing balls into the ground like he has this spring, I mean, he's like, I think 1 out of 3, basically. Well, So
him and Mookie need to work on it. All right.
Yeah, they need to do that, and they will. So, well, what do you think, Robbie? We covered pretty much everything we wanted to talk about today.
Almost. So I want to talk about one more thing. It's not on our topic sheet, or it's on our topic list.
Oh, what we talked about earlier before we went on.
So the A's rendering of their new stadium just came out, and it is an interesting look. So I'm going to put this on the stream really quick. What we're looking at right now is supposed to go on the strip over by across the street. They're going to tear down the Tropicana and put this thing in there. And it looks like, what What's the name of the place in Australia? What are we talking about here?
The Sydney Opera House.
Yeah, it looks like the Sydney Opera House.
Yep.
And I mean, I think it looks pretty darn cool. But the one thing that I thought was pretty striking, though, let me go back to this really quick, is the inside of it. So if you look at the inside of this thing, it's got like this dome,
gotta be distracting.
This neon green dome. It looks like it's a giant TV screen. And so I've never been in a dome before. I've never gotten a chance to watch any baseball games in there. I'm sure the ceiling's not white, but I'm also sure the ceiling doesn't look like a giant green screen. And that's what this thing looks like right now. Like it would change the color. Have you ever been to Circus in Vegas?
Actually, I have not.
Okay.
Out of all the casinos, I have not been to that one.
They've got like a theme park in the back. I can't remember the name of it. I've been there a couple times with my family. I want to say it's like Grand Slam Canyon or something like that.
Oh, really?
Something weird. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sure if my family listens to this, which they're probably not, they're yelling at me right now. But the whole dome is like this pink see-through glass dome. It's all inside. So when you're in there, it's got this whole pink vibe because of the way the glass looks. And that's kind of how this looks, where instead of it being pink, it'd be like this green screen vibe kind of floating around through all the place. But having said all that, it does look pretty darn cool.
I mean, I would definitely go there.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about them ripping down and tearing down the Trop, because that's an old school Vegas casino, but
it's bound to happen.
At some point, all the old stuff has to go bye-bye, right? That's usually what it does.
Yeah.
So,
and with the reason why I brought it up is also because it's now another baseball team around LA that you'd want to drive to watch the Dodgers play at.
4-hour drive.
And I would make that drive. Obviously, I wouldn't make that drive to Oakland to watch them over there, but I would make that drive not only just to see family, but then I would go there to see a baseball game. And so I thought, let's talk about it just for a quick second. If anybody's got their opinion on that and wants to send us a message, not only about this podcast or about that, but if anything we might have, missed, you want us to talk about, things we might have, messed up in the actual stream itself. We're growing.
Yeah, we don't mind criticism. Constructive criticism is always welcome, because we want to be our best at some point for you guys. And,
exactly.
We're still here. It's still spring training for us, so to speak.
Exactly. I said the same thing on the last one. It's like you might have listened to it.
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. If you like everything that you heard, if you made it to the end of this podcast, then, please click the like, subscribe buttons, give us a thumbs up, tell your friends about us, help us spread like a virus. That would be great. It's a great way to say it. Also check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/RotYourBrainMedia. Your contributions help us create the content. We're trying to grow this podcast and other podcasts. So please help us out. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy your baseball, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you very much, guys. Go check out my band, by the way, Striking 13 LA on Instagram. Doing some big things coming up here soon. More shameless plugs, but whatever.
Love it. Love it. Catch you next time.
Go Blue.